And viewers, we have big breaking news coming in from Odisha, where BJP leader has been shot dead. Well, the situation is tense in Berhampur right now. Tensions engulfed parts of Berhampur after BJP leader and senior advocate Pitabash Panda was shot dead by unidentified miscreants on Monday evening. And according to reports, the incident took place outside his residence in Brahma, Nagar, where two assailants opened fire at him and fled the spot. Locals immediately rushed the critically injured Panda to the Berhampur-based MKCG Medical College and Hospital, where the doctors declared him dead upon arrival. Panda was a prominent lawyer in Berhampur and a member of the Odisha State Bar Council, and his untimely death has triggered widespread outrage and grief among the legal fraternity and political circles. All right, let's get to some other news. Hundreds of hikers are still trapped more than 4,900 meters up the slope of Mount Everest after a sudden blizzard hit the mountain's face. Now, here's a report on that.
I just got back from Camp 2. I'm at base camp. And I feel horrible. My throat and my lungs. I'm so out of breath, even though yesterday I was at 8,000 meters.
That's how it feels to be at an altitude of 8,000 meters. And now, around 1,000 trekkers are stranded in the Karma Valley on Tibetan side of Mount Everest at 4,900 meters after a blizzard struck.
Even if the trekkers are trapped there, though it is not extreme altitude, but it's still very high. And the oxygen is almost like, I would say, half of the oxygen at sea level. And that can just even cause breathlessness. If you're not fully acclimatized, you will get tired, fatigue, altitude sickness can kick in. So that is the primarily difference between 4,900 meter or 5,000 meter and then 8,000 meter. But remember, I'm talking about all of this when the weather is stable. It is not getting bad. But once a storm or a blizzard hits, the danger just exponentially increases. Because then now you have, it's not just the thin air that you have. It is not just the cold temperatures or the sudden snowfall that is happening at that high altitude. Where you are trekking now suddenly has a blizzard going on. And that can make it very difficult. It can actually trap people, into a very difficult situation, which they don't know how long it will for them to be there until someone comes and rescue them.
Here's what happened. On Friday, heavy snowfall, thunder and lightning began and continued on Saturday as well. Hypothermia struck, with at least 2 men and a woman falling victim despite being clothed for the conditions.